The Alec Baldwin, I don't even know what to call it at this point because there's so many different people that have come forward. In fact, one of the actors cast in Alec Baldwin's movie Rust is speaking out about some of his safety concerns on set. So his name is Ian Hudson. Okay, there he is. He played an outlaw in the film who gets killed in a shootout. He said filming the scene was extremely unsettling. In fact, here's what he told TMZ. Listen, Tori, you were nodding your head.
Well, yeah, he's traumatized. You can see him sort of like living the moment back as he says, like, it was surreal. At no point should your life be in danger on a set, but I totally get not wanting to say anything. And Al, we were talking earlier and you said something like, let's not sit up here and be like, man, they should have said something, because when you're on an Alec Baldwin film, you're brand new. I get it. I get it. The hierarchy of power is set, and it's not easy to be like, I'm uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So let's not sit here and say we would have done that, because it's not easy. So I just felt for the man.
I would be shocked if any of us sat here and said we would have done it, because we've all been in situations where we're new to the industry or new to a set or whatever it may be. We can take it really kind of out of this film movie set thing, because a lot of people, when I say if you're experiencing something that you don't feel right, it feels off, it feels toxic to you, everyone always makes it seem like if you say something, if you document it or report it, that everything's gonna be thrown up in the air. We know that's not true.
Right.
But what happens is when one person expresses concern and then another person expresses concern, there becomes this pattern of behavior, as you've seen here in these examples. Then by the time that someone who is of authority or someone who is like the 10th person to say something, then perhaps that means that there's going to be some sort of change in culture. But if everyone stays silent, then terrible things happen. And that's what we're seeing in this moment.
Well, everybody stays silent because everybody wants to eat. Like, let's pull away from this movie, because most people will never be on a movie set. That's fine. This is just a workplace. How many places have you worked where you're like, what's happening here is not cool. The way my manager is talking to me or looking at me is not okay. The things they're asking me to do are not safe or healthy, or, you know, oh, just use the old onion rings from yesterday. It'll be fine. Just put some ketchup on them. Like, these things that we've all been told to do, we did that not because we're weak-willed, Erica. It's because we want to eat. It's because this may be rent money this month, and you don't have time to become, you know,
a whistleblower.
A whistleblower, or it's like some kind of hero, because you won't be. You'll be fired and replaced, and everybody knows that. Your manager knows that. Your coworkers know that, and that's why everybody stays silent. And it could either be this, or it could be an outbreak of some bad food that you served, even though you know that silverware was dirty. This is what happens when we have a hierarchy where one person is in charge and controls the life and future of everybody on that set or in that workplace.
I agree, but I do think it's amplified on a set. Because
absolutely.
You are dangling a carrot of everyone's biggest dream, right?
Yeah.
People that will give up anything, work for free, do what they have to do to just get a SAG card. That's like in order to get into the union. And I think the exploitation that has been happening on set for so long has been happening forever in the film industry, because they know that they could take advantage of people, because people that are there live, breathe, and just want so badly to make it in Hollywood, right? And so I think we're starting to see a shift right now on sets. We also know that a lot of these actors and crew members are boycotting and protesting right now, striking for wages and things like that. But I have to tell you, like, this happens all the time. We all know, we've had our experiences. I still have a lot of friends that are working on films day to day. A lot of them are so hungry for roles or so hungry for any type of gig right now because of the pandemic. They will work for $100 a day when before they were working for 10 times that amount of money. And unions aren't involved right now because they know that they can continue to exploit people because of the fact that everybody is looking for a gig in that industry. So I think this is really worrisome. You know, I'm glad that we're talking about it. Unfortunately, it comes at the cost of someone's life and someone having to end up in the hospital. But that's what we're dealing with.
I agree.
I also want to talk about this next. I'm just going to wait for the prompter for a moment. Okay. So, also what happened on the film, because a lot of you are bringing this up, the film is on indefinite pause. We know that. But as investigators, what they're trying to do is they're trying to piece together what happened. And here's what they found out. They found out, according to detectives, that there were loose and boxed ammunition and a fanny pack with ammo from the set. So meantime, The Wrap, which is like an online investigative newspaper, they found that crew members on that set used the prop guns with live ammunition to go plinking earlier in the day. You might not know what that means. It's an informal target shooting, like shooting beer cans in the woods,
right,
which does happen on many sets. I'm not making it okay, but clearly the theory is that after there was plinking, maybe one of the rounds was not emptied.
Yeah, it seems like it was real loose on set. And this is the thing, again, don't forget how many narratives we let float in our society. And just on this desk, Erica, it's like we talk about, deregulation comes from a lot of people's mouths. People talk about busting up unions. They're too expensive. You're paying people not to work, that kind of stuff. And this is the result. When you don't have professionals, you have 24-year-olds that are taking strange Instagram photos, like she's Annie Oakley, leaving things out, not labeling whether something's hot or cold, which is a little bit important. And this is what happens, garbage in, garbage out. And when you do not have people in experienced places because they're willing to work for less, then this is the result. So we cannot then sit here as a society and say, how did this happen? We know exactly how it happened. It's either we do something about it or we have this conversation every 6 months or so.
And what you're saying is true. And just to add on, I've been sniffing from the beginning. This negligence keeps building like a cake or a pie or something. It is one thing after another. The assistant director was fired from another job previously because of a firearm discharge. He had safety issues with the Hulu series. As I'm thinking legally, okay, in my legal mind where I like to go, this adds up. When you have that much negligence over and over, you had 6 crew members walk out hours earlier. Some red alarms are going off for me that this isn't a civil lawsuit. This is involuntary manslaughter with gross negligence. Someone died, and someone's going to be held accountable. And I'm not saying it's Alec Baldwin. I don't think it will be. But as a producer, you've got to start thinking prison time, not just civil time. This is disgusting the way they handled those firearms on set, and someone lost their life for it.